Jay here, Stretford Paddock. This is the Academy Review. It's back after, how many months has it been?
I don't count.
You don't count? Well, I do. Too many is the answer. Joining me, as always, for the Academy Review is David Pritt. And this is a bit of a special edition, isn't it? Because we're not going to be looking at the entire Academy or recent games. We're going to be looking at one player in particular, Alejandro Garnacho. Yeah? The greatest Argentinian ever. Argentinian, yeah. Because there's been a bit of controversy, hasn't there? Because he's not gone to the World Cup, at least at the time of recording he hasn't. And there was this thing of someone tweeted, it's because you're Spanish, and he liked it and then unliked it. He's only a kid, though. He's allowed to do that. Yeah, we're going to be talking about him, both his career with the Academy, how well he did at youth level, where you've seen him many times, and also what you've made of his impact on the first team so far this season, because he has had quite a few games and done really well. Obviously scoring that late winner at Craven Cottage just before we broke up for the World Cup break. We'll go back to the Academy. Can you remember when you first saw him playing for the Academy? Because he was a bit of one of those sort of players who comes in at the side and everyone's like, oh, he's one to watch.
I can't actually remember the first time I actually saw him. I'm usually good with that, but...
Well, that's ruined that question, but yeah.
But I do remember when we signed him, though.
Yeah.
I was in this room when we signed him.
We are.
You were doing the live...
the Paddock Live in there.
Yeah, he was one of the last ones we got in, and I was like, who's this? Where's Sancho?
Yeah.
And then, but it turns out... He was the one we should have, really. But from what my experience of watching him, he's been a breath of fresh air, really, watching him. His speed is one of the main factors, but you see a lot of players get away with just being fast because he can just get past people. But he's got the work rate, he's got the finishing, he's got the tenacity to actually go and try and win the ball. And it shows you at the moment the fact that he's got into that first team and doing well and taking it well. He's earned that himself, really.
Well, we were talking earlier, you saying, you've been particularly impressed when you've seen him for the Academy at Old Trafford, because obviously in that FA Youth Cup run, we had quite a few games at Old Trafford, and he shone, didn't he?
Yeah, the Youth Cup run, I think we had every game bar one, which was at the Majayski. The other ones were at Old Trafford, and he was the star of the show. I think people really started taking notice when we played Everton, and he scored right at the end. I don't know if you remember, he picked the ball up on the edge of his own box, went all the way down the left-hand side, cut in and scored. And that, for me, he played the whole 90 minutes, and you could see right at the end how fast he was and getting past the player. At the one point, I think the player falls over because he just speeds past him. And people were shocked of the speed of his game. The goal he scored recently, how he got in front of the defender and got it. He didn't play the full game there, and he's that fast. He can play 90 minutes and still do that. He's always got that burst of speed. And yeah, people started taking notice after that goal, and he's just hit the ground running after that. I'll be honest, I thought maybe it's a bit too quick to put him in as much as he has been. I just thought he's still 18. He's not as big as he's going to be. Maybe just don't rush him in and stuff. But with everything that's going on with the club, with certain wingers not wanting to play, we've put him in and he's just done brilliantly.
Just on that, we'll get into the first team bit in a minute, but just on the Academy stuff, the sort of the FA Youth Cup final, which had so much attention because the crowds are massive. We were there. It was, Forest brought a big crowd. We had a big crowd there. It was United's first opportunity to win it since the days of Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard and the Keane brothers and all that sort of stuff. Ravel Morrison, don't get me started. I love that kid. Almost as much as Ryan Sundercliff. But yeah, this was a big opportunity. The first time we could have won it in over a decade. Or was it? Yeah, about a decade, was it?
11 years.
Yeah. So a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, all eyes on certain players, him being one of them. And he certainly steps up, didn't he, in that Youth Cup final?
Yeah, I think he just... Because up to that point, it's obviously him and McNeil scoring the goals. Obviously, they weren't all the main players. It was a team game, and I'll say like Kobe Mainoo for me was one of the stars of that show. But he'd never seemed fazed by it. He was scoring goals. I think he scored every time he played at Old Trafford during that run, and I think he played for the under-23s in a couple of games at Old Trafford and scored. So his record at Old Trafford was ridiculous, and I don't think he really cared that it was a final or he just like another game. We're going to win it. I'm going to score, and I think with that attitude, not like getting nervous about it and just take every game as they come along. He's proven that he's done particularly well in it.
He was certainly one who got everyone excited when he was getting the ball, when he was running at players, when he was creating chances, when he was winning disputed penalties, it was always like, he's the one that all the kids, I was there with my lad and my friend brought his lad as well, and they were like, oh yeah, every time he gets the ball, he's just an exciting player. And we've seen him take that into the first team, haven't we?
Yeah.
And sometimes players don't make that step up. They don't even have that initial impact. We've seen players that have had an impact in the first team, the likes of Kiko Makeda, many years ago. I remember Terry Cook having a decent debut. Players like that, but you give him a few more games and it starts to peter out. But he's taken that into the first team and then some, and he looks like he's. I know it's very early, but it looks like he's at home.
Yeah, and I think he cares. I mean, the picture behind us of his celebration, that I love that. He gets the last minute winner. So last minute winner, if I say
last
it right.
minute winner.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Right. He takes his shirt off, slides on his knees, whatever he does. Everyone's celebrating him, but he's like goes towards. Everyone leaves, going towards their own half again, and he's still there with the fans, just like loving it and taking it in. And you could see the passion behind it as well. And I just feel he feels at home here. He's I think one of the main, which is a bit controversial now, I think one of the main things was his idol Ronaldo was here and he's playing alongside him. But it looks like at the moment he's taking his place, and if he can emulate anything that he's done in his career, he's going to go places, isn't he?
Yeah, because he upset a few people, didn't he, when he tweeted or posted something on Instagram about calling Ronaldo the GOAT, and then I think it was Aguero who weighed in about Lionel Messi.
Well, he's not been daft. I mean, he could have played for Spain easily, being that he's from Spain.
Yeah.
But he thought, listen, I've got Ronaldo here. Who else do I need to learn off?
He's clever. He's a clever lad. Just going back to his first team appearances, that game against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup, he got the crowd off our feet. We were all there. He was just so entertaining, so great to watch. And that assist as well for Scott McTominay. This isn't just a player who can run at people and have tricks. No. He can pick a pass out as well, can't he?
Yeah. I mean, the games that in the Youth Cup when we saw, like I said, McNeil scoring goals, he got a few assists in that competition. And yeah, he is there to win games. He wants to win games. If he can score, great. But if someone else can, he'll try and set him up. And yeah, I just think he's got the whole round package at the moment. I still think he's young. I still think there's more to see out of him. But at the moment, it's just what we're starting off with is going to be something great. Just
on the fact that he's so young, and he has shown a little bit, and I'm not being critical here because I love the kid, just a little bit maybe of immaturity when it comes to pre-season.
Definitely.
Because this isn't a secret. We all know this, so it's not like I'm having a dig at the lad. But we know in pre-season he was late for a couple of team meetings. Maybe you get away with that under previous managers, but you don't get away with it under Erik ten Hag. From what we gather, there was some sort of repercussions. He was dropped from a couple of games where he would have been in the squad or whatever. Were he not for that, or he was disciplined in some way, it's been spoken about. I think Bruno alluded to it, and the managers alluded to it as well. But if we had to take a positive from that, it's that he seems to have learned from that.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. Did he deserve to be dropped and whatever happened to him? Yeah, you can't be turning up late for stuff, and your attitude's got to be right. But to be fair, he got his sanctions, and he's been back in the team, and he's done everything right. His attitude's been great. So if he's learned from that, that's the best thing that could have happened to him.
The thing is, as well, we've seen it at every level so far. I think he was at with Spain under 18s. He did very well for them. Went to Argentina under 20s, I think. Did well for them. Did well for the academy at Manchester United. Won the FA Youth Cup and was a big part of that FA Youth Cup win. Has come into the first team and has shone. He just seems to keep doing well at every level he goes to. There's never been a sort of point, or have you noticed the point where you go, it looks like he's sort of not quite ready for this. Every time he makes a step up, he shines.
Yeah, and that's what's a bit disappointing for me, that he didn't make this Argentina squad for the World Cup. I do feel that he would have had an impact in games, and I'm not saying he's going to start games, going to win games, but it's certain situations when he needs someone off the bench sometimes, when a team are tired, to run at people or to find the pass or to get a goal, and I think he'd been perfect for that. I think if they took him, they've had a better chance of winning the World Cup without taking him.
Just before we wrap up, I just want to talk about his place in this first team, because he's come in and he's been playing on the left. Now, Martial looks like he's getting back to full fitness now. We know that Marcus Rashford likes to play on the left. Andy likes to play on the right. Alejandro Garnacho can play on the right or the left. How do you see him fitting in this season? Do you think he is going to be a sub? Can you see him keeping anyone out of the team, or do you think he is going to have to be sort of rotated? How do you think it's going to work out for him?
I think that, rotation is probably the best thing. I think he'll start a few games. I think there'll be games where he doesn't play, but the games where he's off the bench. It's just the way he's going to be he's got to learn, really. He's still relatively young, like I said, he's 18. I mean, at 18, what a player's expected to start every game. But he will, I think in the next couple of years, he'll cement that left side. If he's still at the club, which I pray to God he is, I think he'll cement that left-hand side.
So there you have it. It's official from David Pritt. Alejandro Garnacho is going to start every single game for Manchester United this season, without a doubt.
And score.
And score every game. It's what he does. Listen, I can't wait to see more of him back in a Manchester United shirt. It's a shame he's not going to the World Cup, but little break will do him good anyway, because he can come firing on all cylinders back for when the season starts again. Dave, where can people find you?
Sometimes down here, sometimes upstairs.
Right. Helping out on Stretford Paddock FC, that means, for anyone who doesn't know how this office works. So make sure you go and check him out there as well. And check him out on you're still on Twitter? If Twitter's still a thing by the time this goes out.
Of course it is.
Hey?
Yeah, I'm on there. You can
just find Mr. Dave Pritt and all that sort of stuff. And we will be back with more Academy reviews in the future. So make sure you are subscribing to the channel. I've been Jay. That's been Dave. This has been the Academy Review, looking at Alejandro Garnacho. Don't forget as well, we have got merchandise featuring some Garnacho merchandise. So go and have a look at that. You can see on our paddockmerch.com. Go and check it out. Some great designs there as well. So make sure you're having a look at that. Thanks for watching.